What is up, everybody? My name is Hiken, and today we are taking a look at my new keyboard, the Glorious GMMK Compact. Really quick before we get started, please do consider liking and subscribing. It really does help me out. Alright, let's get into the video. First off, let me tell you exactly what I got. So with this size keyboard, you can get it pre-built, which comes with black keycaps and Gateron brown switches. I don't really like Gateron brown switches. I don't really like brown switches in general. I like tactile, audible feedback, so I went ahead and got the Kailh Speed Bronze switches instead of the Gateron Browns. However, this did come unassembled. I had to assemble it myself, but I mean, that's totally fine. It's easy enough. There are plenty of other options for switches, but I definitely really like these ones. In the box, you get the keyboard. In my case, I literally just got the keyboard. No keycaps or key switches or anything like that, because this board is hot swappable, which means that you can pull out the switches and swap them out with other switches without having to desolder them. It makes this process so easy. This essentially means that you can put whatever Kailh, Cherry, Gateron switch you want, as long as it's Cherry compatible. There's a list of compatibility on Glorious' website. In the box with the keyboard, I got a couple manuals, some stickers, a red Ascend escape key, a Glorious logo Windows key, a right angle micro USB adapter, the switch puller, the keycap puller conveniently tucked away on the back of the board, and the plastic dust cover too, I guess, if you actually use it for that. This also came with a 6-foot braided micro USB cable. Kind of disappointing this isn't USB-C, but it's not really a deal breaker for me. I don't really have anything that's USB-C anyways, so this was fine for me, and I'm not unplugging it and replugging it in a lot anyways, but USB-C is a little bit more future-proof. So in the future, if they do ever refresh this lineup of keyboards, a USB-C plug would be really nice. I also got a box with 120 Kailh Bronze speed switches. These actually came with a pair of tweezers, which the instructions in the box say are to use to straighten out the pins, which can occasionally get bent in shipping. There's not really a good way that's also fairly inexpensive for the consumer to fix this issue, so I definitely appreciate them sending the tweezers along. I never had to use them though, so that was kind of nice. You also get a long box filled with all the keycaps, whatever keycap set you end up getting. This came with all the keycaps for a full-size keyboard layout, so I do have a lot that I ended up not using, but I definitely get why they don't package them specifically. I don't know, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. All in all, everything cost me $117, including shipping. So after I assembled this keyboard, I plugged it in, and everything worked perfectly. I downloaded the software, which is easily found on the product page. Speaking of the software, it really isn't anything too impressive, just a few options to change lighting, record macros, stuff like that. It also shows you where all the function layer keys are, things like mute, insert, delete, stuff like that. I think it's all going to take a little bit for me to get used to, but it's really nothing super inconveniencing. I know that the arrow keys already have been kind of an adjustment for me. You use IJKL and function key to access the arrow keys now, since there's no dedicated arrow keys. Definitely going to take a little bit of adjusting on my part, but it should be fine. However, I am definitely bummed that there is no key to pause, skip, or go back a song. I really like having those on a keyboard, and this doesn't have that option right out of the box. I couldn't really find an option to turn that on in the software either, so definitely kind of disappointing for me. I listen to a lot of music while I game, and having those keys is really essential so I don't have to tab out every time I want to skip a song. At the very least, this does have volume up, down, and mute though, so there are some audio controls, just not the ones that I really want. This keyboard also has a Windows lock feature, which is completely essential so you don't accidentally mash that Windows key while you're in the middle of a 1v1 and end up losing the game because of it. It's happened to me before I found a keyboard with that function. So it's really good that this has that. Anyways, let's move on to build quality. The first thing I noticed about this board right as I took it out of the box is the fact that it is really sturdy. This thing has some heft to it. It's got some weight, which means that there is absolutely zero bend. I think that some of this is definitely courtesy of the steel brushed aluminum faceplate that it has on it, but there might be another reinforcement steel something on the inside. I'm really not sure, and I'm not confident in my abilities to tear this thing apart and put it back together, so I'm not gonna do that, but either way, it's a very sturdy keyboard. All the LEDs are functioning great and look fantastic. On the back, you have that spot for the keycap puller, a feature that is identical to the one on my last keyboard, the Techwear Phantom 87. I don't know if Glorious took this feature from them or the other way around, I don't know. I don't really care a ton. Either way, it's a super cool feature. This also has 4 rubber feet and 2 kickstand feet. Putting in all the switches went just fine for me. All but one of them worked, and I just simply pulled it out of the keyboard, threw it in the trash, and put another one in. That's the advantage of these hot swappable keyboards, is that if you come across a switch that doesn't work or a switch breaks, you just take it out and replace it. There's no need to pull your keyboard apart and desolder everything and all that stuff. You just simply grab the key switch puller, pull it out, and put a new one in. Or say maybe you want to try out Gatoron Reds. You buy some Gatoron Reds and you just put them in your keyboard. It's easy. Having a hot swappable keyboard is essential, even if you're just a mild keyboard enthusiast like myself. It's such a nice feature. It saves you so much money because you don't need to go out and buy an entire new keyboard if you want to try new switches. It's really, really awesome. Now feels like a pretty good time for a sound test. So let's go ahead and hear these Kailh Speed Bronze switches. Pretty nice, right? Yeah, I love it. Also, these stabilizers are really awesome. Let's get a quick taste of those too. All right, so let's talk about these keycaps. So, first strike, they are ABS plastic. They're double shot, yes, but they're ABS, which means that they're not going to last nearly as long as PBT keycaps would. Unfortunate, but I plan on replacing these anyways with the Aura keycaps that I used on my old keyboard. I honestly hated the ABS keycaps that the Techwear Phantom came with, and I'm not a huge fan of these either. I don't hate them, but I don't love them either, and I definitely cannot wait to swap them out as soon as I'm done recording this. There's also a problem with the location of the stem on a lot of these. You'll be able to actually see part of the plastic from the stem on the bottom part of a lot of these characters. So the bottom curve of the S, you'll be able to see a little bit of the stem, and it's actually really distracting, especially when there's light shining through it. Also, speaking of the S key, mine is just plain crooked. I'll have a picture or video or something of it right now up on the screen, and as you can see, it's not straight. Thankfully, this is the only keycap that I have like this, and I never retreat in video games, so honestly, I could live without the S key entirely, but it's kind of inexcusable to just have a crooked letter. I actually don't mind the font on these keycaps, but that crooked letter plus the stem issue plus the fact that they're ABS and not PBT kinda kills it for me. I'm definitely getting these Aura keycaps on. I use the ones from HyperX. They're about like $20, $25. I'll go ahead and link them down in the description below since I get a lot of comments asking about them. Glorious also has Aura keycaps that you can order from them, and funny enough, those are PBT, which is the good stuff. I don't know about the font / stem issues on those ones though, so I would suggest just not buying any keycaps with this keyboard and just getting the HyperX Aura keycaps instead. The gaming and typing experience with this keyboard overall has just been absolutely fantastic. I really can't tell you how satisfying this click is to hear. It's next level. I'm also really loving the 60% form factor. I find that I don't really miss the function row. It's never something that I really used a lot, except to like skip songs or anything like that, which RIP song skipping for me, I guess. Glorious, seriously, just please add that feature. I feel like that's something you could definitely add. I mean, there's keys that aren't being used in the function row. Just add that, please. I honestly think this might be my end game for keyboards. I don't know if I'm going to buy another 60% keyboard for personal use, just because if I want to try new switches, I just buy the switches. I don't need to buy an entire new keyboard. I have already been looking at custom cables. I'm definitely replacing the keycaps, and I am in love with these switches so far. So props to you, Glorious. You are kind of killing it right now. That is all I got for you today, folks. Thanks for dropping by. Remember to like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow my social medias. If you have any questions about any of the products I review on the channel, feel free to check out my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Hiken, HIK1N. That will be linked down in the description below as well. That is really the best place to get an instant response from me, and you could just drop a comment down below here too. I'm pretty good about responding to those. I will also link the keyboard down in the description below in case you want to buy this for yourself. I am always looking for new products to review, so go ahead and drop a comment down below letting me know what I should check out. Alright, thanks for dropping by today. Peace!